Okay, Joe.
Okay, Samantha.
It's a rain day.
Yes.
And the other day, you were not there. Harvey was not there. But Bentley and I met one of our viewers. And she was the sweetest little thing. So before we get into this video, just a little shout out to Paige.
And Uncle Jay.
And Uncle Jay. And thank you for supporting the channel.
And the rest of the family.
Yes. But it's fun to meet
and
people.
Yes, I'll work on hot rods again when she builds me a garage.
Get into what Joe's up to.
Buying a mini skid.
Well, Joe.
Well, Samantha.
I just wanted to ask kindly if you would pause your YouTube watching for a second. And
rain day, so I'm looking at our next purchases.
The rain day is nice. You're going to cringe when you watch this video because I'm recording this in our living room that isn't finished. But the goal is to finish the inside of the house this winter.
Yes.
This fall and winter.
We've done all the structural jacking the house up and foundation work, and I just repaired a bunch of exterior that led into interior rot. So new sills and framing and insulation and sheathing, and so all the stuff that it like needed, now we're gonna move to the inside of the stuff we wanted.
Well, I gotta say, we watched or saw some clips from Brian's lawn maintenance this morning, and sometimes I'm like a little bit envious his new big shop and everything so nice, and the shelving and but then I remember, to some people, we have what they wish they had. And when it comes to us, we own almost everything from selling our house in Andover. So we made the choice to not have a mortgage and just finish this house little by little out of pocket.
Yeah, I talked before about why I don't want to buy just a sidewalk unit. And that's because it's just for sidewalks. All summer it sits. Yeah. And I know. Mowers sit all winter, so then you can put a plow on the mower. Some people do that with the stand-ons or whatever, but I don't want my mowers on a salty walkway.
Yeah.
So then the alternative is a sidewalk machine, which does nothing else for me, especially if we wind up not doing, like, say, the condos in a year or two, and then we don't. What am I going to do with a sidewalk machine? Okay, sell it. Or a little cheap, I'm going to call them the Chinese mini skid steers, because that's what they call them. Because you buy like a Kubota or a Bobcat, you're talking 30, 40, 50 grand.
Right.
And we don't do that kind of hardscape work. We do hardscape work now and then and here and there.
But it's not like a full...
Which a lot of times we just use... I mean, we have a 763. That's a small skid steer. But if you're doing like a small walkway or something that you didn't want to get a big skid steer in, we could implement a stand-on skid steer.
Yeah.
So... being that I can use it for that all year and then plowing all winter, I think that's what we're buying. And it's a rain day, so I'm trying to go get one. We picked up a patio walkway job, and then winter's right around the corner. And you see me getting ready, like plows and everything. So same thing. The plows they have available, unless you buy a really expensive one, the plows they have available for these, they're $1,800, but there's no trip edge. And I don't want to be plowing a sidewalk without a trip edge. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take our older four-wheelers plow and mount it to a quick attach plate with a hydraulic cylinder, because they have auxiliary hydraulics. So I'll be able to power angle the 50-inch four-wheeler plow on the mini skid.
Nice.
So a little bit of welding.
Just need a mini skid.
A little bit of welding and cylinder and a hose, 2 hoses, would be good.
Nice. What do you think, Cassie?
Cassie's going back to the vet today.
Are you tired?
It's been off and on rain. Samantha and Bentley are taking a dog, taking our dog Cash to the vet. So, I'm going to take advantage. Yep. I'm going to take advantage. That's still up there. Of
a couple minutes. To go clear the way to move our job site trailer slash camp. I'm gonna go mow a place for it and kind of mow my way out there. See what we can do. Back of the dam here, because the road up there currently has some of our spoils from our gravel bank. That I have to sort through, which is actually going to come out here onto the dam, on the back of the dam. But for today, we'll cheat and drive over here. There is our beautiful soon-to-be camp. We just got to get it, see it's missing a door. That door is kind of needs a couple spots on the floor patched. But so we're gonna move it out where it's gonna be and then get it weather tight for winter. So being that it's not a priority project, and fix the window that was fine until Harvey moved it here. So just, get it weather tight. It's not a priority, so the sooner I start, as in starting now, to get it out there, the sooner we'll get it, tidied up for winter. Like I said, even if it's just weather tight for winter, the two doors, patch up that window, piece of glass or Lexan or a new window or something. If we just get it out there and tidied up like that, we'll be good. I don't know if I'm going to worry about mowing much of this. Maybe on my way out. Because I may not even bother mowing this. A lot of times it's real wet, but it's been really dry. So I may actually just come through here maybe this weekend with the bucket and actually kind of carve out the road a little better. Normally the low wet spots and the mud is fun for the four-wheelers, but there's plenty of other spots on the property for that. So if I can make the main trails a little drier, take out the low spots, kind of kick the water off to the sides here and there, it'll just make access a lot easier. Because I'm sure you've heard all of our ideas about putting in tent campsites and mountain bike trails and this and that. Now we've even talked about a sports complex, but that's kind of something that Bentley's already 15. That's something that had it been earlier on in his middle school, high school days, younger basketball era, might have pushed for a little harder. But now one thing that we joke / kind of seriously consider, because we have the land, would be a dirt oval track for race cars. I don't know, I think Samantha's posted a couple shorts. We've been going a lot lately. My father used to race. I always wanted to race. Knew a lot of people that did. Been around auto, oval track racing my whole life. And Bentley's found a real big interest in it. Samantha likes going and watching. It's something that if Bentley wants to do, she supports. So we're kind of all on board for him racing. But moreover than that, we're like, you know, we drive an hour to any track we want to go to or more. How fun would it be to build a track right in our own backyard, and it's closer to the, you know, central New Hampshire. You know, it's just in the dream stages right now, but that's how everything starts, right? Everything starts with a dream, and nothing happens overnight, so we'll see what comes of it. Now I just have to remember where we're putting this camper. It might be this knoll right here, actually. I probably should have came out and flagged it with the four-wheeler first. Pretty sure it is up there, actually. I know where it is. It goes up fairly steep. I wonder if I can pick my way in right here. See what this mower does on some larger stuff here. This is a good first test for it. And if it breaks, I'm at home. So, alright. I believe it's this button. Yeah. Alright. Well, here we go. The biggest issue I'm thinking is I'm probably gonna find some rocks, and I'm probably gonna find some stumps. But I guess that's why these blades swing away like they do. And I guess that's why they make new blades, right? So far I'm cutting 1.5 to 2-inch trees. Somewhat of a clearing, maybe one of the old log roads or trails. Put the heat on because it's a little chilly, but I don't think it's that chilly. Up here, so I have kind of a turnaround, workaround spot, because I want to start heading that way. This tree is kind of a large one, but no problem. Yeah, not a problem. I was close to 4 inches at the base. Not bad. Definitely wouldn't have been doing this with the factory blades and that bar setup, I'll tell you that. This is definitely attributed to the stump jumper and blade upgrade. 100%. You know, it's not a mulcher. It's not a $5,000 machine. You gotta use it to limits. I'm kind of pushing it a little, but I gotta feel it out, I gotta know what I'm capable of doing with it. What better way to do that than use it on my own property, not, bid on a job thinking I can clear stuff like this and then have an issue with it. So I believe I'm on the knoll that I want the camper on. Come stay at the Poulin Property World headquarters. Leave that in the comments. I think I've talked about it here before too, but I've also always told Samantha it'd be cool to have like a themed, like a town, small buildings, one being, the bank, and one being the saloon, and, the jailhouse, and whatever, and you could stay in each one, Oh, wow, all right. This tree right here, I'd say, is close to 4 inches at the bottom. And it's in my way, so let's go for it. I'll chop it at like 2.5, 3 inches. Yeah, there that goes. Now let's see if we can take down the rest of that somewhat easily. Nice and easy. A little bit of chatter. A lot of that, I believe, is probably because the tree's wiggling and bouncing, but proof of concept right there is that 3-4 inch tree is gone. Oop, that's a rock. I saw it, and or stump. Saw it, and I was gonna stay away from it until I bounced onto it. But again, knowing the limits of the machine, and using it to the limits but not abusing it can get you a long way. And that's to go for anything, not just implements. Like, I've done a lot of work 30 horse farm tractors that, you know, should have really been a 10,000 pound excavator or a skid steer, or, you know, so I know all about using what some would say the wrong or too small of a machine to get a lot done. Now this skid steer isn't small by any means, but it isn't the largest that Kubota makes. This is a 75-2, and it's been a real good machine for us. There's some times that I prefer to hop in the little old Bobcat 763 for some stuff. And just like, you know, this morning we were talking about, and I've spent a lot of today looking at different skid steers. We've called some dealers, kind of thinking maybe going with a more name brand, but then I backtrack because we don't use it enough. So then I go back to the, you know, just buy something outright for 5, 6, 8 grand, not a 30, 40, even a, you know, $20,000 machine. But they, you know, they all have their place. Where this one would definitely be too big for some stuff. Obviously the little Bobcat's too small. And obviously a mini stand-on would be way too small. But obviously for our big machine, and quite possibly our most used machine, most used as in most frequently, I would say I didn't mess around and got the, you know, the good brand, paid good money, you know, reasonable money. It's not a cheap machine by any means. But you know, for our secondary machine, I got away with buying a used, smaller, older machine. And that's kind of the scenario I think I'm in with a little one. I'm going to use it on a select few hardscape. Excuse me. I think I'm stirring up some stuff. I just smelled a bunch of cut stuff and my window's open here. It made me sneeze. In the same scenario with the mini skid is I won't use it very often. So I can get away with either a used name brand or a brand new, you know, Chinese aftermarket. The good part about the Chinese aftermarket is that we are a fairly handy crew, right down to Bentley with his, you know, mud mowers he builds and swapping engines and whatever. If a motor goes in that Chinese mini skid, it is a copy of an interchangeable very quick and easily with a Predator motor from Harbor Freight, which is a few $100. Not saying I couldn't put a Predator on something that comes with, you know, a Honda motor or a Briggs motor, but knowing that that's what they're already running with and it's literally a direct replacement, a few $100 I can go to Harbor Freight if my entire engine goes out. So for the people that argue, you know, oh, the parts availability and you don't want to do this, it's hydraulic hoses, hydraulic pumps, hydraulic cylinders, and a Harbor Freight motor. So with a little bit of creativity, you're going to your local equipment dealer or Tractor Supply or parts store, and with a couple of wrenches and a welder, you can fix anything that breaks on that Chinese mini skid. if you're talking about like a Toro Dingo, the little gas 323 model, it's just shy of $30,000 new. Yes, it has a Honda motor, but it picks up 500, 600, 700 pounds, just like the Chinese one. If my Chinese one breaks, is anybody going to fix it for me? Is it going to be under warranty? No. But again, I can fix a lot of stuff myself and pay myself $24,000. Turn you guys off here in a minute so I'm not just jibber jabbing, and cut for a minute and then show you a little more progress. I don't know how many of you like just me gabbing along. Man, rough over here, driving on a couple rocks, couple stumps. I'm trying to get more of this opening cut up, so when I get back up here, the reveal of the view is a little more revealing. Going down a little bit more because there's a rock. But, alright. Let's see. You guys see what I see. I'll even open this up here for you for a second. Give the machine a little wind down brake. Maybe let's get right out here. Alright. What we got going on is, let's get right up here. Alright, can you see that? Wait, was the blade winding down? So you see the mountains and everything, and we got a tower over there. There's a big barn over there. I'm not sure how much of this stuff you're gonna see when I do get this opened up. You see right down over a couple of farms. You see a couple silos. I don't know if I can figure out where that is right now. But it's the idea of getting this knoll cleaned off, having the camp right here. I can cut that other side a ways out because it goes into a valley. So if I cut to the edge of the valley, we'll have quite the view there. I can cut some of this back. We'll have a view over that way. I don't think from this side of the property along here you'll see it, but Mount Kearsarge is over that way. Yeah. Not a bad little spot. See if I can get back down without hurting myself. Ugh. Alright, so the trail I headed down right there will open up the view that way if I continue. But really, I do got to get in there. But this isn't going to be a, you know, a few hour, one day thing. It's going to be obviously a project and pecking away and cut down a trail like that and then put my bucket on and, you know, kind of clean some of that stuff up, roll some logs and stumps out of the way, and then cut some more, and then, you know, cut around everything that's bigger, and I can hand cut that. It's going to be a project, but if I can get this spot cleaned up and picked out and know that this is where the camp's going to be, I can focus on cleaning up right here and then work around it. So maybe, let's see, quarter of a tank of fuel and I'm out here. I'm gonna drive out a little bit further just to make sure that I'm 100% sure that this is where the family decided we wanted to set up camp. I think it is. But if not, it's not hurting anything by me opening up a spot like that, because like I said, if we want to do a couple little tent campsites, or if we just want to say, hey, that's a good spot for a picnic table, or if we just want a spot that when we're riding four-wheelers, we go up and turn around and shut them off for a minute and check out the view. It's not harming anything. That's the spot, because I know it was in somewhat of an open area. Unless it's on top of this knoll here. Funny thing is I believe I'll be getting another one of those trailers, the job site trailers. So even if I have two campsites, let's see what you guys can see. Let's see. Trip miles. Hours per mile. Alright, we did cut half a pass or a pass up high on our way out. Giving us an idea of being able to see something. At least I won't be entirely blind coming through with the bucket, trying to shave this stuff a little smoother. Roll a rock out here or there, fill in a low spot here or there. Oh, like there's a low spot. Just make it so it's I know we're riding four-wheelers and side-by-sides, but make it so that at least this part of our trail is somewhat of a decent path. Knocked a couple trees out of the way, stuff that I know is going to be in the way to pull the trailer out here. I want to drive this up through that stuff. Walk up and see what I opened up. I think from where we left off when I had the camera before the battery died, and then Samantha and Bentley came out and checked it out. I left a couple little clusters of trees. We're gonna pick stuff and leave a couple here and there, but this I needed to have obviously the swing to get the trailer up in there, and I want the view. But as we go that way, and that way, I'm gonna more or less selective cut and just thin it out. Let's see what we got going on. Oh yeah. Get a little bit more of a view. You can squint and see what I mean if this is cut. open up more that way, even just by taking out this corner right here to that stump. I did that since I was up here, I mean since the camera was on last, but even just by having that gone, you see more that way. So if I pull more of this corner back and peck through there, we'll have a pretty neat little campsite. I would build a house out here in a heartbeat and just have full off-grid, but I don't know if I can convince Samantha of that. When I say full off-grid to her, she thinks like cabin in the woods. I still mean a house. I just mean you know, our power doesn't come off the grid, because to run, you know, quarter mile, half mile of power versus having solar and, you know, a backup propane generator on demand. I think she's thinking more camp cabin, and I'm thinking more self-sufficient is what I'm thinking. You know, the power can go out and we still have it, sort of thing, and it doesn't matter. You know, yeah, we wouldn't have a light bill, but obviously that stuff costs something. You know, the solar and the generator and the propane, and you can't just be a normal solar system. You have to have, you know, it has to be all off grid, so you have to have a pretty good battery bank set up, or however that works. But I don't know, I don't know if she'd go for it. But this would make a beautiful spot for it right here, with more cleared that way and wrapped around here. And then of course I'd have to hook onto the trailer and move it farther back, but we'd have quite the house site here. Yeah, let's see, Samantha wanted a vertical video. See if I can get her one. I'm gonna go like a 360, how about that? I don't know if the camera caught it, but Samantha just wrote me and asked how I was doing. I was making out up here, or if I was doing okay, and I said, yes ma'am, doing all right. You want to build an off-grid house up here? All right, let's see, turn this back on. What do I have for mileage to get out here? 0.3 of a mile. Yeah, that's about right if we were already off the road and we're not all the way at the back. Alright guys, well, I guess that's going to conclude this video. Let's see if I can do this on my head. Ready? See if I can make Samantha proud. Alright, peace out YouTube.